So Ivan and Mike, if you could join us. So Ivan Beard of Facebook and Mike Arrington of TechCrunch, our partner. Welcome, Ivan.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Welcome, Mike. Please. I'm just going to change the water. Can I do that?
It's your conference.
Welcome. I'm really thrilled to have both of you.
Hello, everyone. You guys awake?
Got to get the coffee going in this room.
I'm going to switch around the order of my questions based on the Microsoft phone guy.
All right.
If you don't mind. So, but just to introduce you, so you are the Facebook Developer Network Director. Is that correct?
Yes.
You've been at Facebook almost 3 years.
Yes.
Before that, you were at Google. Before that, MTV.
Correct.
The Facebook phone. Are you going to? I'm just going to jump right to that. We're going to talk about it later. But
you have one, right?
No, I don't have one yet.
Oh, okay.
Are you continuing to deny the existence of the Facebook phone, or are you ready to say it's real?
I'm ready to deny.
Won't it be awkward? Won't it be a little awkward when you eventually launch it? To say like, well, it's not, sure, it says Facebook on it, and it's running a semi-proprietary operating system that's we pulled off of Android, but it's different than a phone. Like, I mean,
Well, the phone that was just on stage, actually, you log in with your Facebook credentials, and you fire it up, and it's loaded up with Facebook everywhere. And I think that's broadly what we're trying to do, both on the mobile and across the web, I would actually say, is really just enable others to create great Facebook experiences.
what do you think about Windows chances, this Windows 7 phone? I mean, it seems like it's a decent platform, but
I've heard great things about it.
what do you think about it?
I haven't played with it
You
personally.
worked on Android a bit.
I did. I spent a
So you know
number
this
of years
space.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think mobile is there's a ton of development we're going to see in mobile. I think we're really at the really early stages. If I was starting a company today, I would probably start it on mobile exclusively.
You got to answer the question. I mean, that's a very diplomatic answer, but do you think it has any chance against everything else?
I would never count Microsoft out. They're a big company with a lot of developers
All
and
right, we'll
resources.
move on.
What do you think? I mean, to say like game's over, Android and iPhone 1, I think it's a little early. Android's 2 years old.
The Windows Phone, it doesn't suck, right? You're saying like people were surprised that it's actually pretty good this time, but I don't see how people would make that buy decision versus RIM, Android, and Apple devices personally. So, although I have one, it's doesn't suck. Okay, let's go back to the original order. So, at Google, you guys said don't be evil. Facebook, according to some, is evil. Is Facebook evil or amoral? Do you guys care? Is it just about the money? How does that work?
It's an interesting comparison. I think Facebook, we try to lead with our actions. So we're not frequently the one standing up and pounding the table and saying, like, don't be evil, we're not evil, don't be evil. Yeah. We try to speak with what we do instead of just a talking head might say. I actually think that the fact that you would ask a question like that is really a testament to how much people care about Facebook as a company, and it's such an important part of people's lives that how the company acts and how it treats its users and the trust and the relationship that it has with its users is really, really important.
So you talk about, I want to dive into that just a little bit.
Sure.
So you talk about actions speak louder than words, or something to that effect. The privacy stuff. Now, I've been a big defender of Facebook on the privacy stuff, but I have not called out Facebook on that issue. But some people see it as exceptionally not good. And what's going on there? Is it? I mean, it's so confusing, and you keep changing the defaults. And is it that you have to move everyone to the place you need them to be, and you're doing it the best way you can, and that the mess-ups are incompetence, or is it something a little bit different?
So I think first and foremost, for Facebook, privacy is very important. It's kind of
your users.
It's paramount. Yeah, privacy of our users, the trust that our users have with Facebook, and the place where we start with privacy is really around giving our users control. as a starting point. I think one of the challenges with privacy, it's actually not easy. Like your definition of how you want to keep your data private and mine and everybody in this room is frankly different. And there's a lot of subtleties as to where you would want either your defaults or what you think is the right thing to do with your data. So inevitably, it's very challenging to get the perfect set of defaults that works for everyone. And so we try to come up with one that we think is right for our users and right for the whole network and the whole site, and then give users a lot of control and the ability to adapt things as much as they want. But I think we have the most comprehensive set of privacy controls of any other site on the web. And we spend far more resources and energy thinking about privacy than any other company that's on the web today.
OK.
Do you know another one? How much time does TechCrunch spend thinking about privacy? Probably none, right? You don't need to.
Next to none, yeah. We don't have 500 million users, though.
True.
And, and I would say again, like, that was a diplomatic answer, but not a real answer. And if we had a whole hour to talk about privacy, I think we can jump in. Maybe we can do that backstage. But so but I want to get to the stuff that you're actually directly responsible for. So one more sort of general question. Facebook is, would you say it's been successful recently in terms of user growth, revenue, valuation? Let's just say it's had some success.
I think we're doing pretty well. Yeah.
That wasn't a trick question. Yeah. Okay. More from luck, or was this actually planned out, like strategy?
Our Facebook success?
Yeah.
So I think if you actually look through any successful company or successful entrepreneurs, almost every one of them will say that luck was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And Bill Gates will say, like, yeah, it was good, but it's also good to be lucky.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for having luck and being in the right place at the right time. Personally, I've always believed that in many ways you make your luck, and being able to capitalize on opportunities when they come around is part luck, but part being smart and being prepared. There are aspects of what we've done that we've executed against very, very well. When I joined Facebook almost 3 years ago, we had around 60 or 70 million users. And to be honest, like, our growth kind of flattened off just after I joined the company, and I just left Google, and I actually kind of said to myself, whoops, what was that all about? This company stopped growing. Maybe I chose the wrong time.
From Beacon, right? It was around the Beacon stuff?
It was post-Beacon, but it was frankly, I'm not sure there was any specific reason other than the fact that we weren't really focused on growth. We were just building the site. And we actually looked at that and reorganized the way that our company looks about growth and literally formed a team. We have a team inside of Facebook that's the growth team that's focused exclusively on growing the user base. And once we formed that and really doubled down our efforts on that, we saw the numbers continue to go straight up to now well over 500 million. So I wouldn't look at that and say that was luck. I mean, I think that the team that executed against that has worked really, really hard and done some really, really smart things.
All right. I'm going to get you to say something controversial here. Let's start with this one. You came from Google to Facebook. That's a common thing. There are 100 or more employees at Facebook. How many employees do you have? What's your official number? 15?
Somewhere around 1,500.
1,500.
Yeah.
So 100 and something, I think, have come from Google. We've talked about the exodus, the competition between the companies to keep versus steal employees. Why are people fleeing Google so easily? Is it just the Facebook opportunity, or do you think there's something rotten at Google that's making them want out?
So it's interesting. I loved working at Google. Yeah. I was there for almost 5 years. It's a really fantastic company to work at. I think the company has changed a lot. It's really big, right? It's like 20 or 25,000 people. It's not a small company.
Yeah.
And for people that joined Google to join a smaller-ish company, it doesn't look like that anymore. And its growth, frankly, is like much different. It kind of looks like Johnson & Johnson 10% a year growth, kind of like. It's not exactly like a fast-flying, high-growth company. So the characteristics of Google have changed a lot. So people that went there looking for one thing may not be finding that at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's one portion of it. I think the other side of it is, what's going on at Facebook right now is really, really exciting. Like, we're kind of at the center of shaping and defining what the web and what the internet is going to look like over the course of the next number of years. And so we have really fast growth, working on really exciting projects. We're still a pretty small company. And so it's really an attractive place to come to work. It's a fun place to work. It's really exciting every day to go into Facebook. So I think it's just, we're attracting great people. The caliber of people that we now have kind of beating down our door to come to work at Facebook is amazing. It's great.
All right, now let's talk about your job. At an event recently, Zuckerberg talked about entire industries being redefined around social, using gaming as sort of an example. What's the next one to fall that you think will sort of become more like gaming, and how successful Zynga has been with Facebook? Yeah,
so we do believe that if you look at what happened in the gaming category, in the gaming industry, where businesses really started building with social from the very beginning and creating highly social experiences, and in doing so, really disrupted what happened in gaming. I mean, Zynga's rumored to be worth more than EA right at the moment. And they really, like, the momentum is all on the social gaming side of things. Yeah. We think what happened in gaming is going to continue to happen across a variety of different industries and verticals. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where it will happen next, because I feel it actually depends a lot on, like, really smart entrepreneurs putting their head down and figuring out how to change the game.
Let's talk about one area that you guys, interesting with your MTV background. Facebook's never jumped into music, and it's such an obvious place for a social network to be. Will you eventually, or what's going to happen with music, or will there be a Zynga of music that you sort of are paired at the hip to, or?
So I think we are in the music space to the extent that we offer a platform that anyone can build on, and you see companies like
Connect, basically.
What's that?
Connect.
Yeah, Connect, yeah. Facebook platform, Connect are building Canvas apps. And so, for example, Spotify, which integrated Facebook Connect sometime earlier this year, has seen great success using the platform. And right now, Facebook is the #1 referrer of traffic to Spotify. And since they actually integrated with Facebook Connect, they've seen a 4x increase in the amount of traffic coming from Facebook. So in many ways, through the platform, we are in music.
They implemented Facebook Connect in a version earlier this year. Mm-hmm. You're saying that they must have told you this, right? That the traffic has increased 4x since that time.
From Facebook.
From Facebook.
Traffic from Facebook.
So it clearly works. So that is Facebook music. Spotify is, in a sense. And there could be others as well.
Absolutely.
So you don't need a Facebook music property that, like Facebook Photos, where people can go and listen to music.
Exactly. And really what we want to focus on is building out the core building blocks of the social graph so that other companies can build great social experiences on top of it. And so whether that's in music or in videos or in commerce or in recruiting or in travel, we think all those businesses would make sense to be social. And we think that we're going to see companies, whether it's existing incumbents who really rethink their strategy, or whether it's smart startups who are really building on social and building on Facebook from the beginning and from the ground up. We think those industries will be rethought around social, and you'll see new leaders emerge.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
Well, I mean, I did, and then I decided I didn't mean to. But there's something that's confusing. Like, you own all the developer stuff, right? And you've got Connect, APIs over there, and then you've got, what do you call it internally? The third-party apps that are on your site.
Apps on Facebook, Canvas page.
The platform.
Canvas apps.
Do you care at all about the platform anymore? Like, if I'm a developer, I'm not sure if I would know, should I build for Facebook, or should I, an FBML or whatever it is now, or do I do Facebook Connect, or both, or what? Are you at some point going to give some guidelines, maybe right now, for example, about what people should be thinking of in terms of opportunity?
Sure. And it's interesting. So we launched the platform, 3.5 years ago, I think, the middle of 2007. And then about 2 years ago, we launched Facebook Connect. And we now actually, and in many ways, for the past 2 years, we've really been pushing hard on Connect, because our goal wasn't really to try to move the web inside of Facebook, but really to try to make the entire web social. And so now we're adding about 10,000 sites every single day using Facebook Connect. Over 250 million people every month are using Facebook Connect.
That's a new stat. So I'm not sure what the old stat was. So 250 million people per month are logging into Facebook Connect.
Are using Facebook Connect on third-party sites.
Okay.
Yeah, we have over 2 million sites. We're adding about 10,000 sites a day.
Who's the biggest partner?
The biggest partner?
Yeah.
I actually don't think we've released the biggest partner. We have a ton of interesting big partners. Like Bing recently launched.
Bing?
Bing. It's a reasonably big sized site.
It's Microsoft, right?
Microsoft, yeah. They were on before.
Yeah.
With our sponsor.
Yeah.
Pandora's been big. Yelp has been big. Yep. Here in Europe, TF1 is big. Wipe is big.
TechCrunch.
The BBC is big. TechCrunch uses us.
Yeah.
AOL, Yahoo.
Go AOL. Big fan. All right.
So, but you're asking, do I build something inside of Facebook?
Yeah. What do you do?
Or do I leverage Facebook Connect? And to be honest, for a long time, we didn't know the answer to that. And actually, I would frequently just ask our developers and partners, well, what do you think? Why are you choosing one or the other?
Right.
And over time, a few things have emerged that actually are starting to give some perspective on which way you should build. I mean, we think everything should be using Facebook, whether you're building inside of Facebook or whether you're obviously building out on the web. But there's a couple of characteristics of building inside of Facebook that make it different. I'd say one of the key ones is that Facebook users tend to want to stay on Facebook. So the fact that you're building an experience inside of Facebook makes it easier actually to just get more traffic and distribution from the rest of the site. So, and you'll see a lot of our advertisers are actually building a presence inside of Facebook to capitalize on that. I think the other one that's probably most interesting is to the extent that when you're building with Facebook, you're building a social experience. The expectation of a social experience is different on Facebook than off of Facebook. And so you can actually, the way in which you let your users share or see what their friends are doing, that expectation of what they see is different when you're inside of a Facebook Canvas page than out on the web. So for example, if you come to a website and kind of out of the blue the site says, hey Mike, here's what your friends are recently, what they're listening to, you might be like, oh, that's kind of weird. That wasn't really what I was expecting. You go to a Facebook page, that wouldn't surprise you one bit. That's like exactly what you have, what you experience. And so to the extent that we think building social from the ground up and really kind of going all in and building these social experiences, in some ways it's easier to do inside of Facebook because users expect it to be social and you don't have to, in essence, educate them as to what's going on.
But so you're not saying this, but you're sort of saying it. You are supporting, the apps inside of Facebook for the long run. It's not,
I mean, I think another thing that actually changed our perspective was a little bit is, when we were pushing out to Facebook Connect, as I said, our goal wasn't to rebuild everything inside of Facebook. I think we actually had the APIs available prior to the official launch of the platform, and it wasn't until we created a Canvas page that people actually understood what it meant to build a social app. So we actually tried to lead with Connect, but really needed to start with apps inside of Facebook in order to really spark people's imagination. And so I think one thing that started to change our perspective was seeing really the developer community embrace platforms like Android and iPhone and say they're willing to build a unique experience for a unique platform.
All right, last question, we're out of time, but I wanted to talk about this. Facebook credits. A little bit confusing to me where sort of, call it maybe a bait and switch, where you got all these people on the platform and then it's free, and then, hey, you got to use credits and the single currency, and we're going to keep just 30% for ourselves. And so, that it seems like you're sort of dragging your partners, kicking and screaming to credits. And so we talked about this backstage a little bit, and one of the things you said that surprised me was, you have no plans to make it mandatory. You have a plan to make it so I'm not giving the answer, but let me say this. Is it mandatory?
No.
No. Fascinating. Tell me why.
So Facebook credits, our goal with Facebook credits is to really make it very easy and fun for users to buy virtual goods in any application.
Granted, it already is. It's awesome
and
for a user. Less
exactly.
Awesome for the developer who pays you 30% to use the credits.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that depends on how much, if it drives actually incremental revenue.
Wait, so what you mean if it?
So our goal and our belief, and a lot of our early tests, we're still pretty early with credits, we're only in a couple hundred applications, is that by having a single currency across all these applications, you can reduce friction and increase conversion rates and drive a lot more spending. And so in order to do that, you need to have everyone using credits, right? Like if just one application is using credits, then it's really hard to get any kind of economies of scale, and most users won't have credits in their pocket when they show up.
So
for us, it's really important to have everyone using credits. And so in many ways, what we've done over the course of the past year is kind of get everyone to hold hands and jump in the pool together. And when everybody jumps in together, it's actually a nice and fun place to swim.
Especially for you.
Well, and for our developers.
So the rumor is that you're getting tens of millions of dollars a month from Zynga now.
Is
that accurate?
So we obviously can't release any financials.
But clearly
we have a great partnership with Zynga. We always have.
Great partners.
But I think what's important to realize is that we're starting to see proof points show up where when you build with credits from the beginning, you actually can increase your revenue. So for example, CrowdStar, since they implemented Facebook credits and they actually did a deep integration using Facebook credits inside their games, they've actually seen a 50% increase in ARPU, in average revenue per user. Similarly, another example.
Does that after your 30%? That takes into account the 30% or not?
That's a gross number.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there was another one you said.
Yeah. So another example, which is really interesting, and this just came out a little while ago, is a company called LeWeb2010, who created a game called Ravenwood Fair, where they knew they were going to use credits, and they were going to use credits deep inside the game, and they were not going to have a secondary currency. It was going to be the only way to purchase things. And they paid a lot of attention to how they priced goods and when they sold them.
Yeah.
And they've managed to have 10% of their users purchasing in any given month, which is probably 3 to 4x what most average games are. So we know that having a really highly liquid currency works, and so a lot of what we're doing is really working to make sure that it works across a lot of games. And the transition is not necessarily fun, but everybody knows that the end game is a much better place.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you convinced me to some extent that one is it's brilliant to not force people to do it. And then argue with data points like you have that they're going to make more money doing it that way. So you convinced me to some extent that that's not an evil thing to do.
We're still early. I mean, I think we're going to continue to try to convince you and the rest of the developer community.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike.
Great. Everybody eat the beard from Facebook.
Thank you.